Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is and I'm an international student who makes videos about being an international student in Canada and my life after school. So for today's video, I decided to talk about Education Credential Assessment, or ECA. If you're someone who are planning to go here as an international student and eventually apply for permanent residency, or if you're someone who is applying straight to permanent residency, then this is one of the documents that you'll have to process. So this video is for you. All right, let's begin.
Yeah.
So first, what is an ECA, or an Education Credential Assessment? What it does is it compares your education from your home country to the level equivalent in Canada. It means that your 4-year bachelor's degree on your home country can be the same or less equivalent to Canadian education. ECA is valid for 5 years. It is one of the documents that you can get early because it has a long expiration date. ECA does not mean that your credentials are recognized for licensure in Canada. For those professions that are regulated, it doesn't mean that your license will be carried over to Canada if you get an ECA. ECA also does not guarantee a successful immigration application. It's just one of the requirements that they check. But if you get an ECA, it's not going to guarantee you that you'll be approved for permanent residency. In order for ECA to evaluate your level of education, there are several factors that they consider. One of them is the level of education, the duration of your study, and they even look at the general content of your study. ECA does not assess incomplete credentials, so if you didn't finish your studies, they won't be able to assess it. Anything below secondary or high school education, they only assess a degree or higher, for example, masteral or doctoral. They do not assess non-academic credentials as well, so trainings like computer literacy training, stocks training, language courses, and others. And of course, they also do not assess credentials obtained in Canada for obvious reasons. Now let's talk about the fees. The fee to have your education evaluated is 200 Canadian dollars. If you have more than one credentials that you want them to evaluate, so say for example you have a master's degree, you want them to evaluate your bachelor and your master's degree, there is no additional fee for that. Please also take note that there's a courier fee for the hard copy of your evaluation. It's $15 within Canada and $75 for international address. Now, how about processing time? It depends on the organization that you have chosen to have your credentials evaluated. There are two major ones that I often hear. We have the WES or WES, and we also have the IQAS or ICAS. They both do the same evaluation that are valid for express entry in Canada, but I find that the major difference is WES has a shorter processing time, which on average only takes about 4 weeks or 1 month. However, they are more strict when giving evaluations. On the other hand, ICAS has longer processing time, which could take up to 14 weeks, but based from what I'm hearing, they're more generous in giving a Canadian equivalent evaluation. However, if you have more than 2 credentials that you want them to evaluate, please expect at least 4 weeks longer on top of the 14 weeks of processing time. Now, you're probably wondering, when is the best time for me to have your education assessed? As I mentioned, this is one of the documents that takes a long time for you to get, so make sure that you plan ahead and you put a lot of lead time in securing this document. In my personal experience, I went for ICAS. I started processing my educational assessment when I was back in the Philippines. And one of my concerns is I'm not a fresh grad, so it could mean that the curriculum might be outdated and they might give me a lower Canadian education equivalency. So with that thought, I went for ICAS, even though they have longer processing time. I don't mind because I started my application early. So right before I left Philippines, I processed all my documents and submitted a request to my university for a transcript. And then for my mailing address in my ICAS application, I put my Canadian address. So overall, I only paid $200 for my education to be assessed, plus $15 for the document to be delivered within Canada. Now I will share with you how to process your education assessment through ICAS. The very first step is to gather your documents. There's not much of documents required for your education to be assessed. On your screen is the requirements for your education to be assessed by ICAS. The requirement depends on your country, so make sure that you check on the link that I'll put on the description box for country-specific requirements. But for Philippines, this is the only requirements for your education to be assessed. First is your diploma. They will only require you a scanned copy of your diploma. Please do not send an original diploma, because if you do send an original copy of your documents to ICAS, they will not send it back to you. For your diploma, you can just scan it or take a picture of it and then upload it on the profile that you will be creating later. And then second requirement is the academic transcript. There are three methods on how you can send your education transcript. Now, this is not like diploma that you can scan and submit on your profile. Academic transcript either needs to be a secured electronic transcript or a copy of your transcript to be sent out directly by your educational institution. And the third one is you can pick up a copy from your school and you can send it to ICAS by courier. I'm going to explain that further on the next steps. Now that you know what documents you'll need, step 2 is to create an account with ICAS. I will link their website in the description box. This is how the ICAS website looks like. If you don't have an account yet, you can easily create an account on the left side of your screen. Just fill out all the fields required and then hit the submit button. But since I already have an account, so I log into my personal account. Once you're logged in, you will see two options on how you want your education to be assessed. The first one on your left is Education Credential Assessment. I need an assessment to immigrate to Canada. If you want to use your education assessment for permanent residency, this is the option for you. The second one on the right is an assessment for employment, education, or professional licensure. Cannot be used for immigration. Make sure that you are selecting the right type of assessment. Again, if you are using it for your permanent residency, you need to click the one on the left side. So that's what we're clicking right now. It will lead you to terms and agreements. So just tick I agree, and it will lead you straight to the form. Why do you need an assessment? Select I need an assessment for express entry or other immigration programs in Canada. Click Save and Next, and then fill out your personal information and contact information. Usually the personal information part has already been filled out based on the profile that you created. There's just an attestation just below the personal information that says, is your personal information below correct? It will appear on your assessment certificate. So make sure that you hit yes on this. And then scroll down to contact information. So enter your main phone number, alternate phone number if you have one. If you don't, that's fine. You can leave it blank, and your primary email. Click Save and Next. The next screen will ask you for previous names. Do you have any other names that appear on your official education documents? So if you've been married and you changed your name before and you're carrying a different name now, this is where you'll add your previous name. So just click the plus button on the right side of your screen and then enter your previous name, first, middle, and last name, and click on Save. Since I don't have one, I will just click on Save and Next. The next screen will ask of your mailing address. Please note that this is the address where you want to receive your certificate or the decision/outcome of your application. Do not enter an address here for an organization to which you wish to send your certificate. On the mailing address section, you can fill out a care of name if the person to receive your assessment is different than you. And then you just fill out with your address and then hit Save and Next. Educational information. Provide information below about the credentials you want ICAS to assess. Click on the Add Credentials button on the right side of your screen, and then search for the country of your education, enter name of certificate or diploma or degree, search for the name of institution, your school, your college, or your university. If your university is not listed, you can tick the box here that says, I can't find my institution. Enter the attendance start and end year of the education that you want them to assess. And the last field will ask for transcript transmission method. If you have more than one education that you want them to assess, just go ahead and click again on Add Credentials and enter the details of your second education to be assessed. The next page will ask you to choose the credentials for assessment and order additional certificate copies. So ECA assessment, $200. If you add assessment certificates, it's $15 each. It's not required, but I did request for a hard copy. That's completely optional. If you don't like a hard copy, then you can just remove this certificate and you will only have to pay 200. So just hit save and next. The next page is document checklist. So this is where you can upload your scanned copy of your diploma. Other than a scanned copy, they would also ask you for an identification document. So you can simply scan your passport as well and then upload it. Proof of name change. If you change your name, this is where you upload a document. So like a marriage certificate, this is where you attach them. Under education documents, this is where you upload your scanned copy of your degree. If your diploma is not in English, you have to secure an official translation of your document, and that needs to be uploaded here as well. Once you're done, just hit on save and next, and then declaration, tick on the box, and then click save and next. The next page is the fee summary page, so it will just tell you how much total you'll be paying for this assessment request. Click on save and next. Your application will not be processed until the supporting documents for your credentials arrive. Click OK. And then the payment page. Before you proceed in payment, you have to click on preview my application, and then it will download an application request form for you. You can pay using your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, debit, or Interact transfer. Now that you have created your account with ICAS, it's now time for you to request for your transcript from your institution. Just like what I mentioned, there are three methods that you can choose from. Let's discuss them individually so you can select the best option for you. Option number one is electronic transcript. Please note that this is not an option for everyone. You are only able to send your transcript electronically if your issuing institution, your colleges or university, issues a secured electronic transcript. If you're not sure if your university has an electronic transcript, I would suggest that you talk to them first because it will make your life a little bit easier. The second method is for the issuing authority to mail your transcript directly to ICAS. When you create your profile and submitted your payment, ICAS will send you a request of academic records form. This is the form that you will give to your school. I've also linked a copy of this form in the description box. The applicant will have to fill out the top section of the form, and then the issuing authority will have to fill out the bottom part of the form. The copy of your transcript must be in a sealed envelope that is signed and stamped at the back flap of the envelope. Here is a sample of how your envelope should look like. This is very important, otherwise ICAS may not recognize your transcript document. If your issuing authority is unable to mail your transcript directly to ICAS, the third option is you can pick up the sealed, signed, and stamped envelope of your transcript from your issuing authority and you can mail it yourself. On your screen is the mailing address for ICAS. I hope you found this information helpful. Again, I would suggest that start processing while you're still in your home country because it can get difficult communicating with your issuing authority, with your colleges or university via email if you're already here in Canada. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate if you can hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share to your friends. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye!
Yeah.